Okay, this is a Janet house. This is the last remaining Janet house in my village, the village of St. Patrick's, River Sallee, St. Patrick's. And it's called a Janet house because it was named after that major hurricane, Hurricane Janet of 1955, that hit Grenada and devastated the island. And those were the relief houses that were given to the homeless and people who didn't have any place to stay after Hurricane Janet. And they're still standing. Some of them still standing. We have a few left. This is the only one left in my community, in my village. So imagine, if my math is correct, based on my estimation, this little house is about 20 feet long by 15 feet wide. This is the front of it. There's a door, that's the main door, the entrance. And to the right, there's a window. That's the front of the house. Let's go around to the side. Okay. This is one side. There's a window here. So you can see another window here. Let's go around to the back. Okay, the back. This is the back of the house. Has another window and a main door, a back door. And then on this side has another window. So just imagine this. You know, in those days, everybody lived. Most people lived in a small house like that. It doesn't matter. It didn't matter how many members of your family, how many members you had in your family. If you had 30 people, that's where you had to stay. 30 people lived. There were households that had 15, 20 people. And everybody lived comfortable in this small space. 15 by 20 with one room, and the parents would sleep in the bedroom, and all the children would sleep in the hall on the floor. They make like a beds on the floor, little mattresses, or you sleep on sheets or anything you can get. You make your bed on the floor to live. I remember my grandmother had one. My grandmother had a Janet house. Most people in the neighborhood have a house like that. So this is what the houses looked like in 1955 after Hurricane Janet. Most people lived in a house like that. But today, most houses are like this. See? The neighborhood, most houses, the neighborhood has grown and people have bigger houses. Imagine that. In those days, the majority of people didn't have any lands. All the lands was belonging to the estate owners, the plantocrats. After slavery was abolished, and the slaves were free, they still used to work on the estate, and they were paid like pennies, but they didn't own any lands. All the lands was owned by the estate owners. They own all the lands in Grenada. So, Eric Gary, or former prime minister, he was a revolutionary in his own right. Because of him, a lot of people own land. He broke up the estates and gave away lands to the landless. Before that, much people didn't own lands. All the lands was owned by the plantation owners, the slave masters, and their descendants owned the lands. So I just wanted to share that little part of history with you. So In my community, this is the last house in ruins, abandoned. Nobody lived here, it's just sitting there. That's part of our history. We don't have any house like that. Nobody lives in houses like that anymore. Most people just across the street, this is what houses here look like now. Okay? We don't have any small Janet houses that people lived in now. Okay. The last still standing Janet house. It's called a Janet house after Hurricane Janet in 1955. Those houses, I think they were prefab houses, were given to people whose houses were damaged by the hurricane. And just imagine, still standing. It's good wood. I think it was made from green heart. All green heart wood. So there we go. A part of history. The last standing Janet house in River Sallee, St. Patrick's.